Hi everyone, Elisa Rubio. This is video 2 of my series about coach placement. I want to talk today a little bit about the concept of the week in the strong leg and the concept of personal volume and team volume and the difference between the two. Personal volume is often abbreviated PV and team volume as TV. So this is just an illustration of a genealogy of a coach. And so you can see here that this coach has 2 legs, and I've widened these legs out so that we can get more going on in the inner legs here, because as I illustrated on a previous video, it's impossible to illustrate exactly what's going on, especially deep within these inner legs, because there's just simply not enough room to illustrate that. But you can see here that each coach has 2 legs, and that we all share an outer leg with the coaches above us, okay? And so here you have coach with 2 legs, coach with 2 legs, 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 and on and on and on. And I've illustrated that, and it really just goes on and on. Okay, so the 2 legs of the coach here, this is you. Okay, your 2 legs are anything on this side. Okay, so I don't want this to be mistaken. It's not simply this is your leg here. Anything that hangs on this joint belongs to you, okay? And you will what's called cycle on it, okay? So anything that hangs on this joint, that includes everything here. And that is called your left leg. It's also your, well, in this case, we don't know whether it's the power leg or not. It's likely the power leg, because you can see how strong this leg is here. You've got probably coaches coming from all over, but anyway. That's irrelevant. The point is that this is actually the strong leg here. And we talked about the power leg on the last video, but the power leg is not always the strong leg, okay? This over here is the weak leg, and this is really, most people are a little bit more balanced than this, but I got bored of drawing these little legs, and so I stopped. But this is clearly the strong leg, and that means the leg with more volume, and it's talking about total volume. Team volume is, personal volume is anything that you purchase yourself and anything that your customers purchase. And you can see these little satellites, these little purple dots that I've made, represents the purchases of customers. Now, volume is calculated in about roughly 75% of the dollar value of the product. So, for example, Shakeology it cost $129 retail, and it is worth 90 personal volume points. So if you are on Shakeology Home Direct, that is 90 PV points per month, okay? Now, if you have customers here, you're going to have some satellites. Let's say you have 3 or 4 customers. That is your personal volume, and so your personal volume will be 90, 90, 90, 90, 90. You're counting yourself. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, your personal volume will be 450. That's just you, okay? Now, your team volume is equal to the personal volume of every individual in your organization combined, okay? So you're going to have team volume of X amount on your left side, and team volume of Y amount on your right side. So each one of these people has their little satellite customers, and they're going to have a certain amount of PV. And so their PV is here, and their TV starts counting below them, just the same as it does for you. So the PV of this person who's a discount coach, that's what the broken line is all about. They don't have any customers. They're simply here for the discount. Their PV is 90, period. Okay, they only are on Home Direct Shakeology. Now, let's say this person here canceled their Shakeology altogether, so they have 0 PV. So they're just an inactive coach. Okay, but you've got all these other people. This person has 2 customers. This person is a discount coach and no customers, so they have 90 PV. So this person here that has 2 customers, they have 90 times 3 is 270 PV. So to get your team volume, you would add up the 270 plus 90 plus was, and you add up all these together, and you can see that a coach who's been doing this for some time and is successful at helping other coaches is going to have massive amounts of team volume, okay? So the strong leg simply means the leg on which there is more team volume. So that can actually change from week to week. I'm saying week, the W-E-E-K, week to week. From week to week, your strong leg and your weak leg may alternate. Now, in this individual, it's not going to probably alternate week to week because this is so dramatic a difference. This is somebody who is on the strong, possibly somebody who's on the strong leg of their upline and really hasn't done a whole lot with their own business yet. And their weak leg is almost always going to be their non-power leg as well. And that's why it often gets confusing because a lot of people's weak leg is their non-power leg, but that's not always true. Your weak leg can change. So your weak leg simply means the leg on which there is lower volume, and the strong leg is the leg on which there is higher volume, and that's going to change at times. Okay, so in order to cycle, you have to create this perfect storm, or this what I call Tetris effect, where all the stars align and you get for every 200 points on your strong leg, which can vary which side that is, to the 100 matched points on your weak leg, then you what's called cycle, or Tetris. Okay, I call it Tetris because it just makes sense to me. When you see everything is aligning, and then all of a sudden you get this shling, and you get points, that's what cycling is. Now, the amounts that you get when you cycle is going to vary based on your rank. An emerald earns $14 every cycle. A ruby earns $16 every cycle. And a diamond earns $18 every cycle. Sorry about the background noise. My daughter's in the background talking. So you're going to get a different amount per cycle. Now you can imagine if you have all this team volume here, this is tens of thousands of dollars of team, or tens of thousands of volume points here. If you have, let's say in 1 week, you know, after you've built the business for some time, you now have, let's just say for math's sake, you have 8,000 PV on one leg. Now this is someone who's built the business for some time. I'm just showing you potential here. And over here you have 3,000. Okay, so you're not going to, now this is kind of some basic math here, but you're not going to cycle on all this volume because you're only cycling when it matches. So to every 100 here, you need 200 here. So you're actually only going to cycle this is only going to cancel out 6,000 of your strong side's volume. So you're going to wind up with a leftover of 2,000. Okay, have I lost you yet? So you still have 2,000 left on this side, and you're back to 0 on this side, and that 2,000 carries over to the next week, and that's how the strong and the weak can flip-flop sometimes, is because of that carryover. So you'll carry over this 2,000, and then you'll start the cycle again over here, start adding it up, and then cycle again. So the point is that you can cycle multiple times a day. I think there's a limit to how many times you can cycle per day, and that limit changes depending on your rank. That's where the star diamond ranks come in handy, is that you don't cap out, you cap out at higher levels depending on your rank. So your leadership, your proof of leadership, if you're able to lead a team to the point where you're like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 star diamond, then your cap levels of the number of times that you can cycle is going to increase with your demonstration of leadership. So that just helps things be fair, so that people who aren't really working the business can't, just rake in the dough because people under them and over them are working the business. So anyway, I know that this is a confusing concept. I hope this helps clear up a little bit about what cycling is all about. Just think of it again as Tetrising. As soon as the stars align and you get 200 on one side for every 100 on the other leg, and again, these legs is anything hinging off of this joint right here. That's your right leg and this is your left leg. And you can see where that can get to be pretty astronomical. And that is where the people who are really making full-time incomes, 6-figure incomes, even 7-figure incomes from this business, that is where they're getting the vast majority of their reimbursement is through the volume that their team is creating, and cycling on that. So placement, as you can kind of see implied in here, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more later, placement is critical because you want to balance the two legs such that you're cycling on this. If you have them perfectly balanced, you're actually not going to earn as much money as if you have them a little bit 2-to-1 here, but you've got to strategically place people according to what you believe their potential to be, and that takes a little bit of intuition, and sometimes you're going to be right and sometimes you're going to be wrong, but we'll talk more about placement later. Today I just wanted to talk about the strong leg and weak leg, and to teach you the concept of cycling.